Somebody was asking me about sandblasting. Those siphon sandblaster feeders came up. A lot of people get those from Harbor Freight, little siphon feed cabinet, and the problem with that siphon feed is it doesn't feed any sand. You got to have mass quantities of air either way in the first place, and even more air when you're not hardly getting any sand up in there, because it takes all the longer to do the job. So what I did is I took one of these air compressors. This is an air compressor, Husky air compressor, that the crew I had fried in about a week in the late 90s. Well, I just converted this whole air compressor tank into my sandblasting tank. Welded me a bung hole up top so I can fill this tank with sand. And then I took the regulator here and I got my air coming in from my big tanks. Those will come in right there. And then I got the air feeding my gun right here, so my gun's getting max pressure, whatever the regulator on the air compressor tank is set for. My gun here gets max pressure. But then as you come on across here, the air going into the tank is regulated with the regulator. So I'll put like 15 psi in the tank behind the sand. That way I got pressure feeding my sand and I'm not waiting on sand to come in. So, and then what I did was I put a ball valve down on the bottom. So I get everything ready. When I'm all set to sandblast, I crack the ball valve, grab the handle, and I'm good to go. This is a 60 gallon, no, 25 gallon tank. So I'll fill it up about halfway with sand, and it'll sandblast for off and on for a couple months from whatever I'm doing. But the key is the pressure in the tank. Like I said, I got full pressure going to my gun. So I'll have 90, 100 psi behind the gun. But then I'll turn the regulator up and put pressure behind my sand. I'll put 15, 20 pounds of pressure behind my sand. It works out great. It works really good. So just wanted to pass that on, a little homemade sandblaster. I mean, I just used the cheap Harbor Freight gun and then kept the regulator system that came with the air tank and just replumbed stuff a little bit. Still got a handle on it, still got the wheels on it, you can move it around, and worked out really good. Just pulled the lens plate out of a welding helmet. Use a welding helmet, some earplugs to do the sandblasting. So just passing that on. Easy sandblaster setup that works really, really good. So Thanksgiving Day, everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. Don't let anybody give you the bird. Be safe.